Hello everyone, welcome to sqadia.com, and in our second section of lecture topic chronic pelvic infection we will talk about the genital tuberculosis. In this we will talk about the pathogenesis of the genital tuberculosis, how it can spread or what's the mode of spread of genital tuberculosis, and what's the pathology of different pelvic organ in case of tuberculosis. So genital tuberculosis is 1% among the gynecological patient which attend the outpatient department in the developing countries. Tuberculosis is again at a rise now. It was almost disappeared in the before, but now it's again at the rise because of different infections like HIV and in different immunocompromised conditions that can activate the tuberculosis if it's present in the latent stage in the patient. So tuberculosis is at rise again in developing countries. Here it gives the statistics. What's the range of tuberculosis in different countries percentage. India, it's the most in India, 26% is in India. Then China is 13%. Again, India and China has are big countries with huge population. So it's that's again one factor also. It's India 26%, China is 13%. In Indonesia, it's 6%. Nigeria 5%, South Africa 5%, in Bangladesh it's 4%, Ethiopia is 3%, again Pakistan is 3%, and in Philippines it's 3%, and other is about 15%, other countries. So this is the statistics of the tuberculosis, genital tuberculosis in different developing nations. What's the pathogenesis? Pathology is the study of any abnormality. Pathogenesis is the process or stages that leads to the abnormality or pathology. So pathogenesis. Here if you see, usually the most common site for developing tuberculosis is the lungs. Lungs is the pulmonary tuberculosis is very common. So here it's mycotuberculin bacilli. These are mycotuberculin bacilli. The spread of tuberculosis is through environmental exposure, through breathing. So isolation of the patient, especially if there is tuberculin patient in the house, is important. So during cough, it's important to cover the mouth because it's spread through the air. So airborne spread for the tuberculin bacillus. So environmental exposure, it can spread to the lungs, which is the primary tuberculosis. Here, primary TB. TB is for tuberculin bacilli. So primary tuberculosis or primary TB is in the lungs. Then if there is persistence of bacilli, if there is no treatment and the bacilli persist, it can lead to latent TB, or when the bacillus is present in the body because the treatment is not properly done, that can lead to latent TB. Then we have, in some patients, if there is immunosuppression, if there is some chronic infection, if there is cancer, if there is HIV, that can lead to suppression of the immune system. Immune system is the system that protects us from different infections. So leads a decrease in the capacity of immune system or immunosuppression can lead to reactivation of that latent tuberculin bacillus, and that can then now spread to extrapulmonary sites. And these extrapulmonary sites are bones and joints. Pleura is the outer lining of the lungs. That's the pleura. It can also spread to central nervous system. It can spread to lymphatic system and also to the genital urinary system, which involves kidney, testes, and ovary. So that's how the tuberculosis can spread to different organs of the body. But again, remember, tuberculosis is very common in the lungs. Pulmonary tuberculosis that can, if treated, can be cured. Treatment for tuberculosis is good nowadays, and it can cause the cure. If the treatment is not good enough or it cannot be completely cured, it can stay in the body in the latent phase. And once the immune system become low, then it can cause reactivation of that latent tuberculosis, and then now it can spread to different organs like bones, joints, central nervous system, lymphatic system, testes, ovaries, kidneys, and now it can involve the different organs of the body. Now, the mode of spread of the tuberculosis means how it can spread, or what are the different means by which it can spread. Hematogenesis is through the bloodstream. Hema is blood. So hematogenesis, tuberculin bacillus can spread through the bloodstream. One, it can enter the blood, and as the blood goes to different organs of the body, it can carry the microorganisms. So hematogenesis is through the bloodstream. Lymphatic or direct. Lymphatic, one, it is through the lymphatic fluid, or if lymph nodes are involved, they become swollen, or it can be through the direct spread. Or it can be ascending. Ascending means it can go upward, ascending upwards. So it can spread from down upwards if the vagina, through vagina, goes to cervix, from the cervix to the uterus, then to the fallopian tube, ovaries, and that's how it can go in the ascending manner. So mode of spread through the bloodstream, through lymphatic system. It can through the direct, through the coughing, sneezing, breathing. Patient can spread it to the environment, and when the next person can inhale it, it can get the tuberculin bacillus. So mainly three or four means of spread of tuberculosis: hematogenesis, lymphatic, direct, and ascending. Then again, this is the diagram that shows you the different parts or the organs that constitute the pelvic organs. These are all the pelvic organ. This is the female reproductive system. So we have the vagina. This is the vagina. Then cervix. Cervix is there is external os of the cervix, external opening that opens into the vagina. There is internal opening or internal os that is the lower portion of the uterus. So one is the lower portion of the uterus that opens into the cervix. Then external os is the lower opening that enters into the vagina. So in external os, cervix, internal os, then there is myometrium. Myo is the muscle layer of the uterus. Myometrium. Endometrium, inner layer of the uterus. This is the broad ligament that is very, very broad ligament that holds or support the pelvic organs like here fallopian tubes and ovaries attached to the uterus here. So broad ligament is roughly giving the support to the all these organs, so they are not lying freely or hanging freely, otherwise they can all fall down. So broad ligament is for the support. Then we have ovary here, uterus and fallopian tube. So this is all the organs of the pelvis or female reproductive system. Then these are the different diagrams, histological pictures of the tuberculosis in the fallopian tube. This is the miliary tuberculosis of the fallopian tube. If you see, this is the widespread miliary tuberculosis. Again, these are the pictures of tuberculin granulomas, and this is the formation of exudates. So these are the diagrams of the tuberculosis in the fallopian tube, miliary tuberculosis and tuberculin granulomatous lesions in the fallopian tube. Again, this is the diagram here. It's of the uterus and the ovary. This is the ovary here. If there is any carcinoma or tumor of the ovary, this is the carcinoma. These are the different parts of the ovary: corpus albicans, corpus luteum. These are the different stages of the in the ovary during the process of menstruation. Corpus luteum is formed once the if fertilization doesn't take place. So corpus luteum, small yellowish body. This is the again here the carcinoma inside the uterus. This is the carcinoma. This is the polyps. Polyps are the growths, smooth muscle growth that, polyps are the growths. They can be sessile or they can be pedunculated. So these are the growths present inside the uterus. These are the polyps. These are the fibroids. Fibroids are again the growth due to the smooth muscle cell proliferation, and these can lead to the fibroids. These are the cysts in the ovaries here. These are the adhesions. This diagram is basically showing you all the common pathologies. What are the common pathologies, abnormalities of the uterus and ovary? Very good diagram. So pretty much covers everything that is possibly present in the uterus and the ovary. So here, polyps, carcinoma, again fibroids. This is also the carcinoma. Endometriosis. Endometriosis is the presence of endometrium outside the uterine cavity. So this is endometriosis. Endometriosis. This is again carcinoma. Carcinomas in different parts of the female reproductive system is showing. This is the carcinoma in the ovary. Then there is endometriosis. All this is endometriosis. Presence of endometrium outside the uterine cavity or lining of the uterus. Then there is, besides endometriosis, if you see here, this is the adenomyosis. Adenomyosis. These are also adenomyosis. Polyps, fibroids, carcinoma, endometriosis. These are very, very common pathologies present in the female reproductive system. Then adeno is the term used for glands, adenos. So adenomyosis, glandular growth in the muscle layer. Myo is for muscle. growth in the muscle layer of the cell. Then these are the abnormalities in the shape of the uterus. Here, if you see septate, this is the septate uterus. In this, the wedge of the fibrous tissue is formed in the uterine cavity. This is septate. Here, a septum is growing inside the uterus. This causes narrowing of the uterine cavity. Two cavities are formed, septate. Here, again, Asherman syndrome, in which adhesions are formed, band-like adhesion inside the uterine cavity here, Asherman syndrome. Then we have bicornate uterus, in which there is incomplete uniting of the uterus. Here, the difference you can see in the septate uterus, the uterus is united on top, but only the septum is formed or wedge is growing inside the uterus that divides it into roughly two cavities. So this is septate uterus, and this is the adhesion formation, Asherman syndrome. Then we have bicornate uterus, which is the incomplete uniting of the uterus. This is bicornate. So this diagram is all about the pathologies which can be present in the uterus, ovary, and some structural abnormalities of the uterus. Then the cervix. This is the normal cervix. Cervix is the part that is the lower portion of the uterus that enters into the vagina. So cervix, this is the histological picture of the changes in the cervix during chronic infections, during tubercular infections here. So this is the cervix portion that enters into the vagina. This is the normal cervix. This is if there is any infection present. You can see this is the yellowish pussy discharge coming from the cervix. That's how it looks like if there is any infection of the cervix, known as the cervicitis. This is the removed specimen of the infected, all the female reproductive organs, uterus, cervix, fallopian tube, ovaries. You can see these are all abnormal ovaries are present. So this is the diagram of chronic pelvic infection or pathology of the female reproductive system. Next, involvement of the pelvic peritoneum. Peritoneum is the covering or lining that covers the organs or female reproductive organs, pelvic organs, which can be of two types, which is wet or dry. In wet, there is discharge. In dry, there is no discharge present. So this is again the diagram showing the miliary tuberculosis. These are small granules present, miliary tuberculosis of the fallopian tube. So that was all about genital tuberculosis. We talked about how genital tuberculosis can spread, what are the different modes of transmission of tuberculosis, and what are the representation of genital tuberculosis if it involves the uterus, peritoneum, cervix, or the fallopian tube. So thank you for watching sqadia.com.